as floodwaters rose in many parts of New York City on Friday. The message seemed clear. If you are at work or school, stay put for now, Mayor Eric Adams said at a news conference about the storm just before noon that day. Schools Chancellor David Banks repeated the same language later in the briefing, explaining that our protocol is essentially to shelter in place. A social media post at 12:16. The Ministry of National Education also said the same. Sheltering in place refers to a special safety protocol from the Department of Education that requires schools to close their front doors and prevent anyone from entering or leaving. The purpose of the procedure is to keep schools safe when there is danger outside the building. There was only one problem at first. No one told the schools directly about this order. That's when Anna Nelson, assistant principal at Bronx Latin, learned about the shelter-in-place directive. But this would be complicated to implement. Many parents at 6 12-year-old school arrived early to pick up their children, fearing that the commute would be even more difficult later in day due record rainfall. This would not be allowed under a typical shelter-in-place order. Parents would be really upset, Nelson said. In previous shelter-in-place situations involving many schools, such as several in Brooklyn after last year's subway attack in Sunset Park, orders came from the NYPD and borough law enforcement offices that contacted the schools. However, 10 school administrators told Chalkbeat that no such instructions had been received on Friday. Flood caused chaos in many schools. Many school leaders were dealing with immediate crises. They were helping the children dry and collecting extra clothes for the soaked children. While also pulling some children out of flooded classrooms, they were making sure the floors weren't dangerously slippery and checking to see if they had enough teachers to complete the lessons. They were communicating with families anxious about the pickup and working on alternative exit plans for the layoff. Many were unable to watch Mayor's press conference or monitor Education Department messages on X in the middle of school day and may not even know how to get information through those channels. As a result, none of the executives who spoke to Chalkbeat actually implemented a shelter-in-place. Many have had to decide whether dismiss students early or allow parents come and collect children due. Mixed messages from senior officials. It was very confusing. Be honest, said a Brooklyn school administrator who spoke on condition of anonymity because they were not authorized to speak the media. I was watching the press conference live and then I heard him say it. But I said, I don't think he really meant we were going to shelter here. Because that's crazy. Department of Education spokesman Nathaniel Steyer reiterated Monday that the guidance during severe weather events is to seek shelter in the school building.